Hi everyone, today I'm going to be sharing a recipe that I make a couple of times a week. It's very easy and it's very healthy, also very filling. This is sauteed chickpeas. All you will need is some cans of chickpeas. I'm using 4. You can use the bagged chickpeas, just soak them and boil them. You'll need some oil for frying or sauteing. Any kind of peppers that you like. So I'm using these long peppers because they're very flavorful. They are labeled as hot, but they're not hot to me at all. These are pimento peppers. They're also very flavorful peppers. You can use bell peppers, any kind of peppers that you want, but they're healthy, filled with vitamin C. So that's why I'm using them. This is a wiri pepper. These two peppers, this pimento pepper and the wiri pepper, they come from the Caribbean. I love to use them because they're very flavorful, so please look into these. Red chili flakes also work. And you will be needing several cloves of garlic. I'll be using around 4 cloves of garlic. So to get started, I have washed my cans of chickpeas off because you never know what has been on top of these cans. There's dirt, dust, things like that. They're in my bowl, and now I'm going to rinse them. As you can see, there's a lot of liquid on them. It's kind of sticky. I really don't know what it is. I guess it's salted water, preservatives, and I know that the can is lined with BPA, and you want to rid your food of that, so give your beans a good wash if you're using canned beans. Here are my roughly chopped ingredients: thinly sliced garlic, and my peppers are just roughly chopped. You can chop them whatever way you like. I forgot to mention you can add any kind of herb to this as well. This is Cuban oregano. It's excellent for your health, so I'll be using this. Good to keep away colds, illnesses, things like that, filled with antioxidants, so I'll be using that. It's my roughly chopped Cuban oregano. I also wanted to say that this tastes so good in pasta and on pizza, and like I said, it is so good for you. So look into planting this herb or buying a plant and growing it yourself. It does really good when you keep it inside for the winter. It does excellent in the summer. You get a lot of leaves from it, and it's, like I said, it's very good for your health. Another thing you can add to this dish is onion. I don't have any onion on hand, but onion tastes so good with this as well, so definitely feel free to add onion. So my garlic is sauteing. I like to flavor the oil with the garlic. I don't want to brown this garlic yet because it burns very quickly, so I'm just going to let it go for a few seconds, and then I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients and my pepper. So I'm starting to smell the garlic. It smells so good, and I'm going to add the pepper. Recipe, you can add bell peppers, anything that you like. So I just want to soften them up a little bit, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add my chickpeas. Actually, first I'm going to add salt, and I'll add more as needed throughout the cooking. So now you can go ahead and add your chickpeas if you like. What I'm going to do is what I decided last minute is I'm going to add some roasted cumin powder to this because I like the flavor. So I'm adding some roasted cumin powder. You can also buy cumin powder and roast it yourself, or you can buy whole cumin seeds. Here, I'm adding the seeds. You can buy whole cumin seeds and just saute them in a pan until they're fragrant and slightly browned, not burned. And then you can grind them in a coffee maker or a spice grinder. And then you have your own roasted cumin. So again, the roasted cumin powder is optional. You need more fiber and nutrients in your diet. This is even great for breakfast. for breakfast. You can bring this to lunch very easily, to work or school. So I'm just gonna cover this up. I want these chickpeas to soften. So I'm gonna cover this up, let them cook in their own juices, and then I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of water. So the chickpeas have been cooking for about 10 minutes now in their own juices. I'm just going to give it a stir. Before adding water, I like to do this just to get all the flavors out and not water them down. Okay, so everything's looking good. I'm going to just test for salt. So it definitely needed more salt. I'm just going to add that now. Okay, I'm going to cook this just a little bit more and then add my water. Okay, now I'm ready to add some water. Be adding 2 cups. And I'm going to put this on medium flame to bring it up to a boil. And then I'm going to let that cook for, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes. So after just 5 minutes, this is what it looks like. And I just want them to soften a bit and for the water to evaporate. So I'm going to just leave the top open a little bit for the water to escape. I'm just giving this a stir. As you can see, the water is going down. So you don't want this to be soupy, so I'm going to cook all of this water out as it softens the chickpeas. Just slightly off. So as you can see, most of the water is gone. Don't forget to stir so that it's evenly cooked. So these chickpeas are done. Breakfast, a great power breakfast filled with protein, or for a snack or lunch or even dinner. You can also eat this with rice. So thank you for watching and let me know what you think about my recipe if you give it a try.